Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 757th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Now, I've got a 40k no rules battle here. It's got a couple of unique things. For a start off, can you see that it's a night battle? To my knowledge, I think this is the first time I've ever put a night battle onto our Brotherhood YouTube channel. But also, before I introduce the teams, I want to show you this map. Okay, can you see how hilly this map is and how Team 1 has got a massive disadvantage here, because we've got to climb up the hill, and all the enemy have got to do that is just form up basically on top of the hill there. Okay, and you can see the steepness of this hill that our team has got to fight up there to engage the enemy troops. Okay, you can just see the steepness of the hills on this Alpine Valley map. Okay, just look at what our troops have got to fight up there to be, as I say, to be able to get to grips with the enemy troops there. Okay, very, very hilly and a big disadvantage to Team 1. Now, just to say, I've been a recruiter for the Brotherhood now for over 15 years. And very often, many years ago, I used to bring the new recruits to this map, just to see how they would act, how they would kind of respond to such a map with such a disadvantage to Team 1. And this is kind of something that used to stay in their minds for a little bit, because most of the Brotherhood recruits had never fought on this map before. So that's one reason I used to like bringing them to this map, as I say, just to see how they would respond, their tactics or strategy on a map that gives Team 1 such a disadvantage. So as I say, a lot of Brotherhood recruits in the past have fought on this map, and were a little bit shocked by it. As I say, the enemy team in Team 2, look, they've got such an advantage. They just form up on the top there, and poor old Team 1 has got to think of tactics and strategy to try and win on this map. This is the first time I've hosted on this map for a long, long time. But how many of you have ever played on this map before? Okay, our first teammate is Aurelius. Now, he's got 14 infantry, 4 cavalry, and 2 incendiary pigs. I think you'll find his upgrades quite interesting. Can you see that some of his infantry have got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack? Makes some very, very serious infantry with those 2 experience stripes. Others of his infantry have just got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Still makes some elite infantry there. So he's got mixed upgrades, but I think most of his infantry have got 8 upgrades on. Quick look at his cavalry. Oh yes, and he's got 8 upgrades on his cavalry, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. And there you are, he's got his incendiary pigs. As we've talked about before, the Romans used to cover these pigs in oil and then set fire to them near enemy elephants. And the screeching and the squealing and the smell of pigs burning used to frighten enemy elephants, and the elephants used to run amok and charge into their own enemy troops there, into their own troops, when they were made to run amok. A very cruel thing that the Romans used to do to the pigs, but apparently it was very effective. As I say, the smell and the screeching and the squealing of the pigs as they were on fire really scared the enemy elephants, and as I say, they used to run away and run amok and charge into their own troops there. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Vicox. Now, Vicox has got 10 Barbarian Chosen Warlord Cavalry and 10 Forester Warband. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades on his armoured cavalry general units there. And he's got, 7 upgrades, experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his Barbarian Chosen Warlord. Remember that they've got 2 hit points as well. But if you look at the writing, can you see Forester Warband missile troops there? Can you see that? Forester Warband missiles. So he's got his Forester Warband archers in front of his cavalry. But because these guys have got a unique ability, every time they stop, when they're stood still, they just hide in whatever terrain is on these maps. Can you see? Forester Warband. So at this stage of the battle, he's got all his archers, 10 archer units, there in front of his cavalry, but you just can't see them. But you can see that the mouse arrow can actually see them there. So I thought that was interesting for you to see. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member JGP. Now, JGP's got 13 infantry, 6 cavalry, and 1 archer. Okay, quick look at the upgrades on his, that 1 archer unit. Just look at the upgrades. 8 upgrades. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his archer unit there. Makes him very serious there. And if you have a look at his infantry, 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his infantry. I say the vast majority of his infantry have got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Some have just got 1 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. But as I say, the majority of his infantry have got 8 upgrades, which is 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So that infantry is pretty tough. Quick look at his cavalry there, and he's got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. So make no mistake, that is a pretty solid Roman army there, I think, of JGP's. Our last team mate is myself, Spartan Commander. I've got 12 Spartans, 4 artillery, and 3 archers, and 1 fast-moving cavalry unit there. So there's our team. As I say, Team 1 has got such a massive disadvantage on this map. Do you think that Team 1's got any chance of winning? And don't forget, we're up against veteran players here on the other team. So this is going to be a tough, cracking battle for you to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I would like to give you a heads up on the team battle plan here. Okay, so Aurelius here with his Julii army, and Vicox here with his Gaul army. The plan is to try and get them, okay, over onto our left flank with JGP, trying to get them up onto where my Greek city's army is. Can you see where my Greek city's army is up there? So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get JGP, Vicox, and Aurelius all over to our left flank there. Okay, that's the plan. Okay, but as I say, that's a long way for our allies to run all the way over there, both Vicox and Aurelius. And the enemy team may well try to get involved there and stop them from getting over to my Greek cities. As I say, this has got the potential to be an absolutely cracking battle, and I think you really will enjoy it. Please leave a comment if you do. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Demon. Now, Demon's got 11 infantry, 2 archers, 5 Praetorian cavalry, and 2 fast-moving cavalry. Okay, if you have a look here, have a look at the upgrades there, you'll see that some of his infantry have got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. In fact, I think the vast majority of his infantry have got 8 upgrades on there, if you look. But unusually, if you look at his Polar Shield unit, if you notice, no upgrades. Okay, so he's just got the basic unit there with no upgrades on for his Polar Shield units there. That's unusual, you don't see that very often. But as I say, the vast majority of his infantry, 8 upgrades there. Look at the upgrades on his archers there, also 8 upgrades. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his archers. He usually brings serious cavalry, and there you are, 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. So that's a pretty solid Roman army there. That's pretty formidable with all those upgrades on, I think, as well. And there's his 2 fast-moving armoured cavalry general units there. And they're pretty good for taking out onager crews and archers and things like that. Okay, their next teammate is someone who's called himself OTD Chimrazig, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. And he's got 6 cavalry, 6 Knight Raiders, get ready for this, 6 Berserkers, and 1 Screeching Woman unit. Oh my gosh, right, so you can see, let's have a look there. So there's the Knight Raiders. Now remember, these are good infantry in their own right, but they bring a massive fear factor, taking morale away from enemy troops, and by doing that they destabilize enemy troops and make them more susceptible to routing. And how many has he got of those? And I say he's got 6 Knight Raiders, so that's a heck of a lot of fear there that he's bringing to the battlefield. As I say, he's got no chosen axemen, but he's gone for the fear factor. And remember that they're on a winter map. Okay, so the barbarian troops get a bonus on the winter map. Right, there's his infamous berserkers with their effective against armor maces. They're 2 hit points, and they're massive morale sapping ability as well. Remember, any unit that brings a fear factor saps the morale of enemy troops, and with 6 Knight Raiders and 6 Berserkers, the morale sapping ability will be absolutely phenomenal, really. Quick look at the upgrades on his Gothic cavalry. quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fully upgraded Gothic cavalry. Check the specifications of these cavalry, and you'll find how tough they are. As I say, there he's got his screeching woman there. Remember, barbarian morale is not very good, so to bring a unit that boosts morale is a good tactical move. And these screeching women, when they start screeching, they give morale to nearby enemy troops. So that is a morale boosting unit. Good tactical move there. And as I say, remember, because this is the barbarian faction, they're getting a winter bonus on this map. Okay, now a winter bonus enhances all their specifications. Okay, so same as Vycox's Gaul faction there, both barbarian units, so they're both going to get a winter bonus on this map. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Uther. Now Uther's got 4 peasants, 7 infantry and 8 cavalry. Okay, an unusual mix there, I think. Quick look at the upgrades. He usually brings serious cavalry there. Let's quick look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry. Remember, that takes them out of the elite bracket into the super cavalry bracket there. Make no mistake, they are a formidable cavalry when they're fully upgraded there. And there's his 4 peasant units. The only reason I think he bought so many peasant units is because he's thinking they're going to soak up enemy pilers and arrows maybe as well. But it's a lot to bring there. If we can see his infantry, he's got his infantry and cavalry there, but I say he got maximum upgraded cavalry there. Okay, and their last teammate is Brotherhood member TR, who's bought Numidia. Now he's got 5 legionnaires, 2 desert infantry, 4 archers, 5 light cavalry, and get ready for this, 4 elephant units. Okay. So if you have a look at his elephants there, remember these guys, they've got archers on their back, so they're shooting arrows into enemy all the time. But these elephants, I think, have got a 7 charge bonus, but it's the massive fear factor that they bring to the battlefield that really can change the battle around, as we might see later on. Okay, just give you a heads up on that. Elephants, very powerful, and as I say, it's the fear factor that they bring, taking morale away from enemy troops, that can really make a difference there. So there's TR's Numidian army. He's got very good with him on the 40k battlefield there. So as say there, look at how our team has got to try and climb up that hill to get to the other team there. Okay, and you can see Aurelius and Vycox there looking to try and get across to the other side there. But it'd be interesting to see if the enemy team are going to try and intercept our team there. So I say lots of really good army builds here, and this should be a cracking battle for you to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see that Vycox has moved his Forester Warband archers. Now remember, these guys have got 2 unique abilities. One is that when they stand still, they just hide anywhere on the battlefield. So as soon as they stop moving, they just disappear. And also, their secondary weapon is an anti-cavalry spear. And many a time on Rome Total War, I've seen enemy troops send cavalry to attack these archers, only to see that cavalry routed by these guys fighting with their alt attack anti-cavalry spears. So make no mistake, these guys got long range, they do a lot of damage with their bows, okay, but they also have got that alt attack anti-cavalry weapon. And where, you know, which unit do we usually use to kill archers? And that's cavalry. And of course, with their anti-cavalry spears there, they can counter that. Okay, so we know that Scorpion King's one of the most aggressive attacking players in the game here, and straight away you'll see he's moving his very powerful Germanic army down the hill here towards Aurelius. Now he may well be anticipating that Aurelius and Vycox are going to try and get over to my flank. That's what he may well be anticipating that, and which is of course the team plan. Aurelius and Vycox are going to try and get over to the other flank where my Greek cities are. But as I say, you can see the enemy team here looking to intercept Aurelius here and Vycox. Okay, let's pause the game for a second here. So as I say, you can see Aurelius running his troops, trying to get over to the other flank there as fast as he can. Okay, and Vycox there just standing there just trying to assist him as he goes across, trying to get to the other flank. Remember, that was the team battle plan there, to try and get onto the left flank there where my Spartans are and JGP's infantry are there. But the enemy team look, as I said, here to try and intercept Aurelius and Vicox if they can. You see Aurelius is, Uther's fully upgraded Brutii cavalry heading down the hill as well. And over here you'll see that my Spartans there have run up the hill and managed to get on top of the hill on my side of the on the left flank here, if you like, and you can see that JGP is moving his SBQR infantry up the hill as well. Okay, so the left flank of our team there, we've pretty well secured that part of the hill, because you'll see that Demon is moving away from us there with his Scipii army. He may well be looking to join his teammates there in attacking Aurelius and Vicox. Okay, that's what he may well be looking to do there. So it'd be interesting to see how the enemy team are going to go about this. There, as I say, you can see Demon moving his Scipii army forward, but as I say, you can see Scorpion King here being really aggressive there. I think they can smell blood. They can see that our team has been divided. They are, poor old Aurelius trying to run over to the other flank as fast as he can, but I just don't think he's going to make it there. He's going to be intercepted there. Just look at all those enemy troops coming down that steep hill towards him there. So I think Aurelius, the best thing for Aurelius and Vicox to do is to maybe form up together there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So there you can see Vicox and Aurelius there. Maybe, I don't think they're going to make it to the other flank there. They're going to be intercepted by the enemy team. So maybe it might be a good idea to form up here on that little slope. I think that might be the best thing for Vicox and Aurelius to do, and try and do the best they can against these enemy armies heading towards them there. As I say, I think the enemy team could see the downhill charge bonus that they were going to get down that steep hill, and I think they've kind of smelt blood, and they're all kind of charging down that hill now, look, towards poor old Aurelius and Vicox there, as you can see them moving down. Okay, but as I say, I think the best thing for Aurelius and Vicox to do is to form up on that slope there. You can see JGP bringing some of his cavalry over here to try and help if he can. But just looking at all those enemy troops coming down the hill here towards Aurelius. As I say, the battle plan there was to try and get over onto the other flank there, but Aurelius and Vicox just aren't going to be able to do that. You can see Demon moving his Roman army in here as well. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. So you've got Demon's army, you've got Uther's army, and you've got the Germanic army of Scorpion King all heading in towards Aurelius and Vicox here. So it'll be interesting to see how Aurelius and Vicox can hold. Then you've got the Numidian army of TR here. Now, TR is very battlefield aware, okay, and I think he's going to be reluctant to give the high ground away here. Okay, because you can see all the enemy troops are giving up the high ground there. You can see my Spartans and JGP's SBQR troops moving towards, this is probably the highest point on the map. So this is the really good highest ground of the map there. And I don't think that TR really wants to give that away. All his teammates, his 3 teammates, like are running down the hill. As I say, they're kind of smelling blood there, looking to take out Aurelius and Vicox there, but TR with his battlefield awareness can see Spartans and SBQR troops moving over to this high ground. Now, who wants to fight Spartans on high ground? Not many do, but of course TR's only got Numidia here, and I don't think he feels he'd be able to hold that hill against Spartans and SBQR troops. So it'll be interesting to see what TR decides to do there. But as I say, here you can see Aurelius and Vicox decided to form up, as I say, on this little slope here. And you can see Scorpion King moving his Germanic army forward. Now remember, those Germanic troops that he's got are what I call shock troops. Okay, the Night Raiders and the Berserkers are definitely shock troops there. They cause massive shock to enemy troops when they get close. Okay, so there's the Night Raiders there with their massive fear factor, and there's the Berserkers with their fear factor as well. Okay, and then you've got the Gothic cavalry ready to charge in, the fully upgraded Gothic cavalry as well. So make no mistake, that is a formidable Germanic army that Scorpion King SR has got. And then you've got Uther's Brutii troops moving down the hill. Remember, all of Uther's 8 cavalry are fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry, all heading towards Aurelius and Vicox there. But as I say, I think TR is reluctant to join his teammates because he can see that, as I say, my Spartans and JGP's SBQR troops are heading for this high ground. And that's why I think he is a bit reluctant to join his teammates there, because he can see that they're going to cede the high ground to us for no cost. Okay? So as I say, here you can see there's a slight slope that the enemy are going to have to charge up to get to Aurelius and Vycox's army there. So that's good news for us there. But as I say, with the shock troops that Germania have got, I'm not sure if that's going to make a big difference there. Okay, so there you are. You can see Scorpion King charging his Germanic army in first. Okay, so he's going to take the pillars from Aurelius's army there. Okay, so make no mistake there. Now, if you notice, can you see? Read the writing there. Can you see? Intimidated by nearby enemy. Can you see that? The writing there, intimidated by nearby enemy. That means they're having their morale sapped. There, once again, intimidated by nearby enemy. So all of Aurelius's troops at this stage are having their morale sapped by the Night Raiders and the Berserkers. Okay, if you look at the archers here, look, once again, look, intimidated by enemy, by nearby enemy. So all of Vycox and all of Aurelius's army are having their morale sapped before they've even got into hand-to-hand fighting by those Germanic shock troops that are about to hit them there. Okay, so I say Aurelius there, you'll be throwing loads of pillars into those Germanic troops. If you notice here, Scorpion King has paused there before he charges in there, and that's to hit the war cry button. Okay, he'll hit the war cry button. Remember, the war cry button enhances their attacking specifications. There you can see all those pillars being thrown into the forward units of that Germanic battle formation there. But remember, the barbarian troops have got a winter bonus there, as well as their morale sapping ability. There you are. You can see all 6 berserkers of Scorpion King have now been activated. Oh my gosh, we know that 3 berserkers on 31k can rout a whole Roman army with assistance, but 6 berserkers. And here you can see a Demon's Scipio army coming down to join his allies there against poor Aurelius and Vycox. And here you'll see, as I say, TR is, I always got the impression, very reluctant to leave this high ground here. Look, he did have some troops facing my Spartans and JGP's SBQR troops, but he knew he wouldn't be able to hold the high ground against Spartans and Roman troops there, so I think he's starting to head off down the hill there. Okay, also what I'd like to do, if I could, is try and get my artillery onto that high ground as well. That's what I would like to do, as fast as they can, but of course they can only walk. So as I say, that'd be, if I could get my artillery up onto that high ground, imagine the range I would get on that high ground there. But as I say, TR, a very battlefield aware player he is, but here he knows his Numidians wouldn't be able to hold the hill on its own, so he's going to charge down the hill there by the looks of it to once again add his weight to the attack on poor old Aurelius and Vycox down there. But as I say, the Germanic troops are the shock troops there are ready to charge into Aurelius there. Aurelius has been throwing loads of pillars in there, but I think the Germanic shock troops are just about going to hit him there. You can see the pillars going in there, but there you are. You can see those berserkers charging in, looking at that. And bang, as they charge in there. And now the Night Raiders as well. And now the Germanic cavalry coming in from an angle. See that angle there that the Germanic cavalry is coming in from? Look, and bang, as they charge in there. Oh my gosh, just looking at massive impact. 6 berserkers, 6 Night Raiders, and all that cavalry. Looking at massive impact on to Aurelius' army there. And you've got Scipio cavalry in there as well. As I say, you've got the Night Raiders with their massive fear factor, taking morale away from enemy troops there. And all those berserkers, 6 berserker units as well. Now, would you have expected Aurelius' army to have mass routed at this stage? RTW veterans watching this, do you think you have expected Aurelius' army to have routed there? Well, if you have a look at his units, maybe we can see why they didn't mass rout on impact. If you look closely at the units there, right, can you see? Remember, we looked at Aurelius' army earlier. He's got 2 experience stripes on his infantry. So those infantry are veteran units. Now remember, in a real battle, veterans don't rout very easily, do they? Veteran troops, they usually fight to the last, don't they? and that's why these troops haven't routed yet, because they've got 2 experience stripes. But there is another reason why they haven't routed. Now, I know veterans will spot this straight away, but newer players to Rome Total War, look closely at Aurelius's units. Can you see another reason why Aurelius's army hasn't mass routed with all those Germanic shock troops hitting them? Okay, well, the reason for that is because he's got 3 Eagle units there. Now remember, those Eagle units each give a morale boost to allied troops there. So he's got 3 morale giving units there, giving morale to his troops, on top of his troops having those 2 experience stripes, making them veterans. So the 2 experience stripes keep making them veterans, and the 3 Eagle units giving morale boost to Aurelius's army is stop them from mass routing at this stage, even though they're facing 6 Knight Raiders and 6 Berserkers and all that cavalry smashing into them. There you are. So you can see that those Eagle units plus the experience stripes have kind of neutralised the shock troops' ability of Germania to sap the morale from them there. Yes, their morale will still be being sapped, but as I say, with the experience stripes and those Eagle units, they're kind of almost neutralising the abilities of those Knight Raiders and Berserkers there. Okay, so as I say, Aurelius got a really solid army there. Now, can he hold against all that Brutii infantry and cavalry coming in, and that Scipii infantry coming down the hill? Right here you'll see that Aurelius is trying to charge his cavalry into the flank of those attacking troops. I've got a feeling those fully upgraded Brutii cavalry are going to intercept Aurelius's Julii cavalry there, and as you can see, that Brutii cavalry charges in there like a bang as it charges in there. Oh my gosh, really intercepted Aurelius's cavalry there, and is starting to rout them. But as I say, Aurelius's army is still holding that. So it just goes to show the morale of those troops by those Eagle units and those experience stripes there, really helping Aurelius's army to hold against those massive attacks. Right, now over here you'll see that Vicox has decided to alt attack into Uther's fully upgraded Brutii cavalry there. Now if you notice there, he's got his general fast moving general units there, and there you are, you can see Vicox's Forester Warband archers have now drawn their alt attack weapon. Okay, they're anti-cavalry spearmen. Okay, so the Forester Warband guys are now been alt attacked, and they're fighting with their anti-spears, anti-cavalry spears there, and also Vicox has charged some of his cavalry in. But as I say, just look at the massive impact on poor old Aurelius's army there, and as I say, yet he is still holding. It just goes to show, doesn't it, if you get the morale right in your army, they can hold pretty well. And if you notice, there's a lot of pilers still going into the enemy troops. So make no mistake here, I'm hoping that Aurelius is weakening the enemy troops as well as being defensive there. But say, just look at that massive attack coming here, and as I say, you can see the enemy Scipii infantry coming in, but this is what worries me most, is TR's elephants, the massive fear factor that they bring to the battlefield. Remember that, and they're heading straight towards Aurelius's infantry. But as I say, here you can see that TR has finally decided he's not going to hold the high ground anymore, and my Spartans have now managed to grab the high ground that the enemy have willingly ceded there. We didn't even have to fight for the high ground here. Okay, it looks like we may lose 2 of our allies there, but we have at least got the high ground as all the enemy troops charge into Aurelius. So it'll be interesting to see what the enemy will do there if they do manage to take out Aurelius and Vicox. But looking at the enemy numbers there, I'm not sure how long they can hold. I think Vicox's alt attack Forester Warband archers and his cavalry there have held really well against those fully upgraded Brutii cavalry of Uther there. Just look at that. I mean, that's fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry there being held by Vicox's Forester Warband and his armoured cavalry general units there as well. I mean, I think Vicox has done well there. Now you see Uther's going to pull his cavalry back, probably going to lock and load it and then charge it back in as well. But remember that barbarian troops' morale is not very good. Right here you can see that Aurelius is there, frightened by elephants. If you look at his units there, they are frightened by the elephants now. So not only are they scared of the Berserkers and the Knight Raiders, they've got the elephants coming in as well, sapping even more of their morale. And I think that those elephants coming in could be the final straw for Aurelius's army there. I mean, as I say, they're having their morale sapped by the Night Raiders and Berserkers, and now they're having their morale sapped by those elephants as well. Oh my gosh. Just look at those elephants charging in there. And bang, as they charge in there. Oh my gosh, just look at that massive impact of those elephants. Right, so here you can see the elephants there of charging. Now remember, barbarian morale is not very good, and you can see Vycox's Forester Warband barbarian archers have now routed at this stage. The elephant, the morale sapping ability of the elephant there attacking them has been too much for them, and they are now mass routing there with all the other enemy cavalry charging in there as well. Looks like Aurelius has got a couple of cavalry units in there, but looking at the odds against him there, I would think they'll be taken out pretty quick. And as I say, the Numidian elephants here have smashed into Aurelius's Julii infantry there and have crunched straight through the front lines, straight into the eagle units at the back there. Now at this stage of the battle, all I was thinking was here, if Aurelius can hold, if I can run my Spartans down there, I could smash into the back of the engaged enemy troops while Aurelius is holding. Something like a hammer and anvil attack. So Aurelius would be the anvil and my Spartans would be the hammer there. That's what I was thinking. So I'm running my troops down the hill there, hoping that Aurelius is going to be able to hold with Vycox, and I can crunch into the back of the engaged enemy troops. That's what I'm hoping for here. Okay, but looking at those elephants charging in to Aurelius's infantry there, killing his eagle units, taking the morale away from his troops, and oh my gosh, oh dear, that's bad news for us. Okay, all of Aurelius's army has now been routed. Okay, after a magnificent stand there of him and Vycox against those massive odds of those enemy troops, they have now finally been routed there. I think the elephants were the final straw. You can see that all of Vycox's foresters there, you can see that Aurelius's infantry there have all finally been routed by 4 armies there. So as I say, Vycox and Aurelius there were fighting 4 armies. Then the best thing for Vycox to do now maybe is move his troops and JGP's cavalry, get back up on the high ground now, get away from the enemy troops now. That's the best thing for them to do. Let's get up onto the high ground ourselves there. As I say, I was trying to get down to Aurelius and Vycox as fast as I can down that hill, but I was too late to kind of do what I wanted to do there. So the best thing for me to do now is to pull up onto the high ground, and JGP and myself will now be facing 4 enemy armies. Okay, JGP's got his infantry up there as well, but as I say, JGP and myself will now be facing 4 enemy armies there. And here you can see that I think it's a Demon here is trying to get those 2 fast moving armoured cavalry generals up onto the hill, try and take out my Onager crews. That's what he'll want to do with those 2 fast moving units, and hopefully we can neutralise him from doing that, because as I say, if I can get my artillery onto that high hill there, imagine the range I could get with them onto the enemy troops. But at this stage of the battle there, unfortunately I wasn't fast enough to get down to help Vycox and Aurelius. I think the best thing for me to do now is to move back up onto the hill, onto the higher ground there, and be ready to face 4 enemy armies there. As I say, the best thing for Vycox to do, oh, that's Aurelius's general's just been taken out. I think the best thing for Vycox to do is maybe move his archers and his cavalry away from this particular part of the battlefield and get them up onto the higher ground, which Vycox is doing with his cavalry. But unfortunately, all his Forester Warband archers have now been taken out. And as I say, the whole of Aurelius's army has been taken out as well. So as I say, there's nothing more that I can do with my Spartans down there. So as I say, I'm going to move them back up onto the hill there now. And these 4 victorious enemy armies now, we'll just have to see what they're going to do now, bearing in mind that they did cede the higher ground to us without any fighting at all. But it'd be interesting to see how the enemy are going to go about this. But as I say, JGP and myself up on the hill there, and you can see one of those fast moving cavalry general units of Demon has routed one of my Onager crews there, even though we were trying to chase him and stop him from doing that. He's managed to do that, so that was a nice move there by Demon. As I say, fast moving cavalry units in 40k no rules battles can be very, very effective. As you can just see, they're routing one of my Onager crews, hitting archers there. But as I say, there you can see me moving my Spartans up the hill now. No point in staying down there. And this is a nice bit of cover here from Vycok, stopping any potential enemy cavalry for trying to smash into my archers or into the back of my moving Spartans there. So a nice bit of cover there, saved by Vycoks. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. I just want to show you something about the Berserkers. Now, players who may not have played Rome Total War might not know that the moment that Germanic Berserkers are activated, they go completely out of the control of their general, and they just charge after the nearest enemy unit. And those Berserker units are now chasing Vycok's archer units there. Can you see there Vycok's archer units there? And they're very near the red line. So if these cavalry units, these enemy Germanic cavalry units, chase those enemy Vycok's archers over the red line, the Berserkers will stop chasing them, and then they'll start looking for other targets, and the nearest enemy troops will be us up on the hill. Okay, so as I say, Berserkers are okay, but once you've activated them, you've got no control over them at all, and they just chase after the nearest enemy unit. Now, as I say, you can see Scorpion King here with his cavalry chasing down these archer units there, trying to kill them, so that his Berserkers won't just chase these guys all over the battlefield. There you can see that Germanic cavalry closing in on those Forester Warband archers there. Can you see that? But until he can kill every man, I mean, if one of those Forester Warband archers are left, those Berserkers are still chasing after them. They were. So these possibly are the most powerful units in the game, these Berserkers, with the massive fear factor they bring. They're effective against armor maces, and for them to be completely out of control now of their team and just chasing after these enemy troops is a kind of a waste of 6 expensive, as I say, most powerful units in the game there. Can you see there's one archer left there? Can you see Vycox has got one archer left, and that's why they're berserk right now. Can you see now that there's no enemy archers left now? They've all been killed. So these Berserkers now, well, all of a sudden they're no longer chasing after that unit because those units are dead. So they now will head for the nearest enemy unit, which is going to be us up on the hill there. Okay, so that's what those Berserker units to be heading for us now. And as I say, JGP and myself are setting ourselves up on top of the hill along with Vycox's surviving cavalry there. So it'll be interesting to see what the enemy team are going to do here. Now, are the enemy team going to attack? Okay, are they going to attack the hill there with their Berserkers, or are they just going to stay down there and rest? As I say, we've kind of got up onto the high ground there, and it'll be interesting to see what the enemy troops are going to do there. Okay, but remember, the enemy troops gave up this high ground. I think they smelt blood, and they just attacked Aurelius and Vycox and left the high ground to us. So as I say, they ceded the high ground with no cost to us at all, and we've managed to capture it. As I say, I want to get my artillery up onto that highest part of the battlefield there. Imagine the range I could get on top of there. I've got one of my artillery units up there already. So as I say there, we're just going to have to see what the 4 enemy team is going to do against us 2 here and the survivors of Vycox's army. Okay, so the enemy team can either stay there and maybe rest and get fresh and let the Berserkers charge up the hill on their own, which they'll probably just get taken out. Or the enemy team can charge in behind the Berserkers there, making the most of their attacking specifications. That's what the enemy team may well want to do there. Once those, as I say, the Berserkers now will be heading for the nearest enemy unit, which will be up on the hill, and the enemy team may well follow them there up the hill. So the Berserkers would make first contact with the enemy troops, and then all these enemy troops would come in behind them, if you see what I mean. Now, bearing in mind, to say the Berserkers got that massive fear factor they bring, taking morale away from enemy troops there, plus their attacking specifications are massive, and as I say, they've got those effective against armor maces, but they are exhausted. Now remember that very tired and exhausted troops, their battle proficiency falls off the edge of a cliff and their morale lowers considerably. But as I say, there's nothing the Germanic general can do about these berserkers. They're completely out of his control, and if they just want to keep running towards enemy troops, especially uphill, they're going to stay exhausted. So as I say, it'd be interesting to see what the enemy troops are going to do. Are they going to merge with the berserkers and charge up the hill with them, or are they just going to stay there and rest and think of maybe a different tactic of attacking us there? We just have to see as the battle unfolds there. As I say, I got one of my artillery units right up on top of the hill there, so I'm going to get some good range from that particular artillery unit, being on possibly the highest ground in the game. And here you are, you can see me moving the other artillery units over there as well. But over here you'll see that TR has got two of his fast moving cavalry units there, look. Okay, and make no mistake, what he'll be looking to do is try and attack my Onager crews if he can. Okay, that's why he's got those two fast-moving cavalry units there, because that's what he wants to do. But if you notice, JGP is covering my artillery really well with infantry and cavalry. He knows what the enemy team wants to do, take out my artillery, but he's there to cover it. Okay, you can see my archers here. Look at the range that they've got from this highest part of the map here. Now remember that Cretan archers are elite archers in their own right, but you put them up on elevated ground and their arrows go a lot further and would do a lot more damage to enemy troops there. Okay, so you can see here what the enemy troops are doing. They're advancing up the hill with the berserkers. Okay, so their team must have decided they're going to run up the hill with the berserkers there, make the most of the berserker benefits that they've got there, you know, with their fear factor and their great attacking specifications there. But as I say, I've got my artillery pieces there now, which I'm going to turn onto these enemy troops and hopefully cause some casualties with them there. But as I say, these berserkers here, even though they're exhausted and their battle proficiency won't be so good, they can still they are still shock troops and can still shock units into routing. Okay, you can see them moving up the hill there along with the Numidians there. You can see that TR's trying to cover them there with his Numidian. Bang! You see that fire pot? TR's trying to cover the berserkers with his Numidian troops there, but look at the fire pots coming in on them. What I'd like to do is try and get a direct hit onto the berserkers. That may well stop them from in berserk mode. Oh, look at that! That took out a lot of them. Did you see there that they've now stopped berserk mode? Can you see their banner is no longer flashing? Those two units are no longer flashing there, where they've come out of berserk mode. Right, now what I'm trying to do here, I've got my archers targeting those berserkers as well. Okay, up there. What I'm trying to do is move my Spartans across the battlefield there to receive the berserker charge. Remember, spears and pikes kill barbarian troops quite quickly, and even berserkers. So I'm trying to take my Spartans across there to try and neutralise that attack. But me moving over there has now left the higher ground open to a possible enemy attack, as I'm going to move my Spartans across there, as I say, to try and take out the Spartans there. But look at Uther's Brutii troops there. They could well get up onto the higher ground now with me moving my Spartans away from the high ground. Plus, if you notice over here, you'll see that TR has got an elephant unit in behind that higher ground there, which he can bring into the battle at any time, straight over the top of that hill and straight into us. So that would be a really good tactical move there for TR to do that. If he times it just right, that could be a battle-winning tactic there by TR. Okay, but as I say, you can see me moving my infantry over there to try and counter the berserker charges coming up the hill. Okay, that's the only reason I'm moving them over there to do that. But as I say, by doing that, I have now left that high ground open to Uther's Brutii army and maybe some Germanic troops there as well. Okay, so that could be a bad tactical move by me to do that. As I say, trying to come over here and help my teammate there against the berserkers. Okay, now over here you'll see that you've got Germanic cavalry. You've got the elephants of TR over there as well, ready to charge in towards us. There, plus you've got some Scipii infantry units of demons reaching over there as well. Okay, so here it looks like we could well be attacked here on this particular flank. I think JGP is making a good move there, moving his cavalry back and moving infantry forward. But as I said, here you can see that Uther's now moved his fully upgraded Brutii cavalry up onto the hill there. So if you notice now, I've decided to switch my Spartans to go back up to that hill there. You can see Uther's Brutii infantry were also trying to get up onto the higher ground, but I've managed to intercept them with my Spartans. You can see JGP moving his cavalry and infantry over here as well. But just look at all these enemy troops here ready to attack us along this particular part of the hill here. So we need to be very careful here. As I say, we're trying to charge uphill now against the Brutii infantry and cavalry of Uther. And got to be honest with you, I moved off that hill there to try and help my teammates against the berserkers, and I've now given this hill to Uther. Okay, so I'm going to try and get it back now with my Spartans. JGP's charging it as well. You can see there some of JGP's archers have just been taken out there by enemy troops, and you can see all these enemy troops moving in on us there, including those berserkers now have been reactivated and are charging in on us, coming onto us as well. So I think my Onager crews have been taken out. Here can you see I'm taking the Spartans up towards Uther's Brutii. Oh, that was a nice shot. One of my fire pots just took out Scipio General. Right, you can see here that my Spartans and some of JGP's infantry there are fighting uphill against Uther's Brutii infantry there. I'm trying to cut them off from getting up on the hill higher with my Spartans there, as you can see there. And let's say JGP coming forward as he always does, a great teammate there with his SBQR infantry, trying to isolate and take out Uther's army there. But just look at all these enemy troops coming in behind us, including elephants there as well. Okay, so over here you'll see JGP's cavalry against Uther's cavalry here, but I think Uther's cavalry was greatly weakened fighting Aurelius earlier, whereas I think JGP's cavalry is completely intact. And just look, they both auto-attack. Can you see they're both using their heavy swords instead of their light lances there, in most cases there, you see? If you auto-attack when you get a melee, then the heavy swords do a lot more damage than the light lances. Yes, so there you can see that JGP's SBQR cavalry, which was completely intact, has routed Uther's battle-damaged cavalry there. So well done to JGP there. As I say, you can see a lot of Uther's cavalry has been routed. As I say, they were severely damaged in the fight with Aurelius earlier. But here you can see that Scorpion King is charging his Gothic cavalry in, but they are exhausted. And remember, barbarian troops' morale is not very good there. Here you can see JGP and myself chasing Uther's cavalry infantry there. His Brutii infantry. There's an elephant of TRs there that he's brought into the fray that has now been routed. It hasn't run amok, but it's just routed there. But you can see berserkers and all these enemy troops heading towards us now. There, as you can see, moving forward. I think most of Demon's army infantry are pretty well intact, so he may well have a full infantry army there, and that could be a problem for us. Right, but as I say, Scorpion King's charging his exhausted cavalry there into JGP's infantry and cavalry. Plus you can see Demon's Scipio cavalry charging in there as well, like a bang as they charge in there. But I got a feeling that Germanic cavalry could start to rout because they were exhausted, and we know barbarian morale is not very good. Here you can see me bringing my Spartans across the hill there, trying to help with that cavalry, and also isolating and attacking Uther's Brutii army there. And you can see JGP charging his cavalry in there as well. We're going to try and take out Uther's Brutii army here before his allies can arrive. Can you see that? Great attack in there by JGP, and I've got my Spartans in there as well. Just as I say, all the green infantry there is Uther's infantry that we're trying to take out. Here you can see that JGP's got an infantry unit trying to hold up the enemy units there that are coming up towards the hill. Let's say you've got those berserker units, you've got some Numidian units there as well, all moving up here towards us. But over here, look, you've got the elephants there, okay, with their massive fear factor, their big charge bonus there. And they could well be attacking us from the flank there, possibly. That's a lot of elephant units there ready to charge in, plus with all the enemy infantry coming towards us as well. But as I say, at the moment, we're just trying to take out Uther's green Brutii infantry here. We've taken out his general. His general's now been routed, so he's not getting any general morale bonus there. And between JGP and myself, we've managed to take out Uther's infantry, and I think most of his cavalry as well there. So we can now turn our attention to the enemy coming up towards us there. But as I say, we need to watch out for those elephants on the flank. Right, here you can see my Spartans charging forward, trying to help that one unit of JGP that's been holding up the enemy troops there. You can see I'm sending other units down there as well. Okay, but as I say, these elephants here ready to attack there. Oh, that's good news for us. We've just taken out Uther's general there. We routed him, but we've just killed him there. So no more morale bonus for them. But as I say, you've got elephants and you've got rallied Brutii cavalry there ready to charge in when those two generals are ready. But as I say, you can see me move my Spartans forward now towards Demons Scipii troops there. And of course we've got JGP's SBQR infantry there as well. And he's got his cavalry as well there. Okay, but here you can see the Desert Infantry of Numidia. One of the units just routed there fighting SBQR units. And as I say here, there's two Berserker units that haven't been activated yet. They may well be activated soon there. But down here you'll see that Vycox has been doing well with his the remnants of his cavalry. He took out that Screeching Woman unit there that was giving morale to enemy troops. Plus he's been hitting other targets like enemy archers and tired enemy units as well. So to say, there's a lot going on at the moment on top of this high ground here. Here you can see the elephants charging into our SBQR ally there. Just look at that, and Brutii cavalry as well. Look at those elephants charging in there. Look. Bang, as they charge in there. Right, okay, so what I'm doing here, I've got the bulk of my Spartans here facing the big Scipii army of demons that's pretty well intact. We got SBQR, JGP's SBQR infantry up behind my Spartans, but I'm going to send 3 of my Spartan units over here to try and neutralize these elephants. Remember, spears and pikes will kill elephants quite quickly. And as I say, with that Brutii cavalry there as well and all those elephants, my SBQR ally could be in trouble there. So I want to take, as I say, 3 of my Spartan units over there to try and neutralize the elephant attack there. You can see those elephants charging like a bang as those elephants charge in there. Just look at that. But as I say, you've got Brutii cavalry charging there as well. We've managed to rout one of those elephant units there. We've killed a number of those elephants there. And you can see those elephants making inroads into my SBQR allies' army there. But the moment my Spartans get involved, look, we start killing the elephants there. And those elephant units have now been routed. So that's good news for us there. Okay, so those elephants have been routed there. Killed a lot of them. And as I say, hopefully they won't rally and they will be gone for good now. You got Numidian troops coming up here, look, towards my Spartans there. And as I say, my Spartans, other group of Spartans here fighting enemy Scipii troops. There's Germanic troops coming in as well. Those Scipii troops could well try and get behind my Spartans there and try and surround me. That's something that they may well be looking at there. But here's another elephant attack coming in from behind the hill. Remember we saw that elephant unit in behind the hill earlier that TR had put there. He's now coming over on top of the hill here, look, to attack our SBQR ally. Like a bang as he charges in there. Just look at the way those elephants pile through Roman troops there. But I think that elephant unit was weakened anyway. Battle damage there. So there you go. He's now been routed. Here. And as I say, here you can see my Spartans are fighting the enemy Scipii troops. There's a nice cavalry attack by JGP, like, and bang as he charges in there. Well done to him. You can see I'm advancing with some of my Spartans there towards those Numidian troops there. And as I say, you can see Vycox charging his cavalry in to those Scipii infantry. But fair play to Demons infantry. They're being so well upgraded. They're still holding well. There's some more Numidian troops coming up here as well to engage my Spartans. If you notice here, I've just alt-attacked with this Spartan unit there. They're just using their secondary weapon at the moment, their swords, against these Numidians. I may well put their spears down in a minute. There's a JGP's got an SBQR unit. Oh, there's an elephant unit just charged in there. Look. Bang! As TR charges that elephant unit in there. But you can see my Spartans there took down a lot of those elephants. As I say, Numidia is TR's 40k no rules faction of choice, and he's got very good with them as well. He very often gets very high kills with Numidia on these 40k battles here. But as I say, you can see my Spartans there really pushing in on those Numidian troops. Over here you'll see that I'm fighting slightly uphill now against those enemy Scipii infantry. But as I say, JGP being a good teammate that he is, he's helping there. Look, got his SBQR troops there So well done, great bit of teamwork there. And if you notice, Vycox with his cavalry, his Gaul cavalry, has been all over the battlefield, smashing into enemy troops as well, doing very well. Unfortunately, as I say, for poor old Aurelius, he lost all his army, but he held really well, as you saw earlier there. So it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. So as they were lucky enough to get that higher ground earlier, and I think that's what's really done it here. Now this is quite a spread out battle, because as we saw earlier, this is where Vycox and Aurelius kind of did a famous last stand here, where they were smashed and crashed by 4 enemy armies. And bearing in mind that Vycox was just Gaul there, I think Aurelius and Vycox did really well there against 4 really well upgraded enemy armies there. So well done to them. There you can see a lot of dead there, where that massive attack came in there. But over here you'll see a lot of red Julii troops. Remember, Aurelius's troops were red Roman troops there. Just look at the dead red Roman troops there that were killed by that what finished them off was that massive elephant attack. Just look there, that's all Aurelius's red Julii Roman troops there, just been taken out. I think, as I say, that elephant charge at the end was a final straw. I think his troops have been holding really well, but the elephant attack was just too much for them to hold there. But I say, with the upgrades that he got and the morale boosting units he got, they held well. As we move up the hill, you can see that looks like a bit of a cavalry battle there, looking at the dead. We move up on top of the hill. As I say, wherever you look on this hill, you seem to see dead bodies there. There you can see some dead red cloaked Spartans. I see some of my Spartans killed there by those elephants there. As you can see, there's still a Germanic unit there, a Knight Raider unit left there, but my guess, and a Numidian unit, but I'm guessing that the enemy team will probably admit defeat soon. There's a group of elephants have been killed there. As we look across the top of the hill, you can see there, that's Uther's Brutii infantry there, the green infantry, a lot of them dead there. Here, that's that massive cavalry battle there between the SBQR cavalry of JGP and Uther's Brutii cavalry there, and then the Germanic cavalry of Scorpion King charging as well. So that's where there's a big massive cavalry amount of dead there, and you've got elephant dead as well. So I say, wherever you look on this hill, you seem to be able to see dead bodies there. So anyway, I'd like your opinion about the tactics of the other team. Do you think giving up this high ground by attacking Aurelius and Vycox was the best thing to do? Do you think that's what you would have done, or do you think you'd have just stayed up on this hill? What different tactics would you have looked at like doing on this particular battle? As I say, there's no rights or wrongs here. It's just to see what your opinions are on the tactics and strategies on this particular map. Here you can see the Numidian cavalry there. As I say, this Knight Raider unit, but I'm thinking that the enemy will probably admit defeat soon, because there's no way that they'd be able to win the battle there. And they've just both admitted defeat there. So as I say, it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. I think Vycox had 2 very battle damaged cavalry units left at the end. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. I thought that was an unusual and exciting battle, and as you can see, it was a close victory there, as we thought it might be. And the highest kills in the game goes to Brotherhood member JGP. 1,435 kills, so really well done to JGP. He was all over the battlefield there, helping everywhere, hitting the enemy from different angles with his infantry and cavalry. So well done to JGP. Now well done to TR with Numidia. Great kills with Numidia there. Look, 1,166. Really well done. Well done to Uther. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted. Remember, if we get less than 1,000 kills in our battles, we are a bit disappointed. So I dare say he's a bit disappointed with his kills there. But he was very aggressive with his army. Well done to Scorpion King there. Got some good kills with Germania. Highest kills in his team and 3rd highest kills in the battle. So well done to Scorpion King with Germania. And well done with Demon. As I say, if we get less than 1,000 kills in our battles, we are a bit disappointed there. But he did really well with his army. Very aggressive and attacking. So really well played, guys. My kills, 1,421. Yep, quite pleased with that. That's quite good kills there for the Spartans there. Very pleased with that. Well done to JGP, as I say, highest kills in the game. Did really well. And well done to Vycox. Got some good kills with Gaul there. Bearing in mind he was smashed and crashed at the beginning of the battle, I think that's some pretty good kills there for Gaul. So well done to Vycox. And well done to Aurelius. As I say, he was defensive, he held really well there. Obviously didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but when you're defensive on Rome Total War, you don't get many kills. It's attacking play that you get the kills with. But I thought he held really well there. And it was interesting seeing the upgrades and the morale boosting units that kept his army fighting against all those Germanic shock troops. It was interesting there. Very diverse battle, I thought. We got Greek cities, Rome, Gaul and Rome on our team, so quite reasonably diverse. I think the enemy had Numidia, Rome, Germania and Rome, so I suppose reasonably diverse again there. So I say well done to TR there. I say Numidia is his faction of choice on 40k no rules games there, and he got higher kills than two of his Roman allies with Numidia. So well done to TR there with a faction that some people might class as a lesser faction on 40k or 31k. So well done to him. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unusual night battle. As I say, I think it's the first night battle I've ever put on this channel. And have you ever fought on the Alpine Valley map before? Be interested to see what your comments are at the end of the battle. Bye for now.